How's it going, everyone? This is Leader635 on Gemmy Master Animatronics, and today I'm gonna show you this 14 inches musical Christmas moving figure. Now, before I even start with this, I'm gonna go ahead and explain something. You guys, of course, may have noticed that I'm not really doing any videos on the channel. In fact, I think that my last video was a repair video on Gemmy Chihuahua, or something like that. Either that or the singing llama, but I'm pretty sure it was a Chihuahua. Anyways, I'm not going to be showing any animatronics until next year, and I'm talking about regular animatronics, you know, non-holiday related ones. As soon as November hits, I'm going to start taking down a few Santa Clauses and make the respective reviews. So in November, we're going to have a bunch more of videos to be shown, you know, and a bunch of other things that I plan on uploading. Because as I said, since November, I got to start checking everything, so nothing's broken, nothing's bad, fix whatever's broken, clean whatever's dirty, do this, do that. But for this year, I'm done with regular animatronic reviews. So, as I said, getting on the Christmas spirit right now, we're gonna review this knockoff hip-swinging Santa. I got this one in a... I don't know if I've mentioned it. No, I'm pretty sure I didn't, because I've only got bell ringers and a couple of others that I never showed here yet. I'm going to show them soon. I'm going to a collector's event called TPC Fest, or TPC Collectors, which is a it was originally a My Little Pony collector's site made by by ladies that collected that, but later on it just evolved. It was made into 2015, and it evolved into every kind of toy, every kind of thing, so everyone, you know, whatever they collect. So I got in at beginnings of this year, and in all honesty, that place has been a blessing. The things that have showed up, the things I've purchased, and most of them for a cheap price. Including this one, which wasn't necessarily cheap, but how scarce these things are, or how scarce I think they are, you know, it was worth it. So, I'm going to show this in a second. First of all, I'm going to show the issues it had. So, when I first purchased it, which I have all the pictures over here, I'm going to show a few pictures of how the thing was. So, the thing was dirty, of course, as usual. Everything, you know, the face, the beard was grayish. The hands were dirty because they were rubbing against the window of the box. That's why I usually put a bag in between the box and the toy, and the animatronic, I mean, the item, because it's not a toy, it's a decoration, but you get the point. And of course, this was one of the main issues. It had a flood of corrosion, and this was not all of it. When I first got it, it had the batteries still in. Now, I'm going to show you guys something super interesting about the batteries in just a second, but first, take a second to appreciate how bad these things were. And let me tell you, the second I put them in vinegar, they start sizzling like crazy. Okay, like I've never heard before. So, yeah, a lot of corrosion got killed there. Of course, here's a disassembly I made for a while, you know, for the second I got it, to see if what was the issue and everything. And it's a gear-driven mechanism. It has a 9-tooth, which as I didn't have any 9-tooth, I put 8-tooths, but there's a 9-tooth here, and the one from the shaft that goes to the inside of the mechanism is a 9-tooth too. I put 2 8-tooths. It works like a charm. Of course, some more pictures. Notice the crack over there and all that crap. So it sounded terrible. Here's, of course, a few more detailed pictures of how the thing is. And here's what it did before. Now, again, this is one thing I'm supposed to explain, but it only worked with 2 batteries. Only 2 batteries were making contact. Hold on. I'm going to explain what happens here. Of course, you see the gears split. And there's a really, you know, the classic split gear sounding. A few more pictures of the corrosion before I started working on it. You know, all that garbage. All that white garbage. Just took this picture to see how the belt was placed. And here's, of course, the inside. Now, you guys noticed, as I said, it only worked with these 2 batteries. But you guys can see there's wires attached. I'll get to that in just a second. Okay, watch the corrosion. There was a lot. I had to take the whole thing apart. I moved the circuit board to this side, and I changed all the wires because most of them were corroded out. Again, terrible case of corrosion. Not so bad as completely rusting, but when that garbage goes in, shit gets real. That, and of course here's where I start taking everything out. I took the motor wires out. I clipped the wires for the switch on the top of the base, and from here all that, me taking the Santa Claus out, the arms, everything was stapled. The head, the arms, the hands. Again, a few things not really that relevant, like the face, gears, how it's all assembled. Here's, of course, when I started cleaning everything up. I took all the contacts out, everything. Classic things I do. And here's how I rewired it after I got done with the with putting the contacts in vinegar. So right now they were neutralized, everything was fine. So I started putting all new wires, and the chip went on this area, which was practically empty. I don't know why the hell they put it here to begin with. Again, they go over there, they go to the switch. I cleaned up the switch as well, so just in case. Again, more little fiddle, whatever. This was starting to break. The knob was starting to break. It had a crack over here, I think. So I ended up just gluing a zip tie, like literally putting a zip tie the strongest I could, like, pushing it the strongest I could. Pushing it, pulling it, closing it the tightest I can. And putting super glue so it stays there for good. After all, it just doesn't bother anything. It's not like it bothers something and gets all caught. And no, this solder is a piece of shit. It only works with a really high heat. So again, this is what I was doing afterwards, putting new wires, heat shrink to make sure that nothing. And again, I had to lubricate the motor. As you guys can see over here, that's the new grease, because it was terrible. And I had to take it apart a couple of times before completely finishing it. And there you guys see that I was actually trying with some other motors, because the brushes were so bent that they were touching the circle that keeps the three terminals of the rotor together, and it was making like an extra sound, and you could tell. And how quiet or how shitty the speaker is, you can hardly. And I tried putting another speaker, nothing worked out. So, anyways, so here now this is one thing I did, and I can't recall if no, I didn't. Here's the motor shaft. Here's the inside. So, at first glance, what I ended up doing is I just made the hole bigger and I glued the 9-tooth gear because I didn't have any. Then I was like, no, fuck it. I don't want to go into this thing ever again, unless it has a different issue or something related with another split gear. Because you know how these things are. These things have that cloth that has this red thing. And whenever you wash it or whenever you take it out, you run the risk of discoloring it, of taking that off. And that crap gets in your fingers and all that. So it's not something you can just glue and glue, glue and glue. It's going to ruin it. Anyways, so I said cleaning the mechanism and all that crap. Here's the speaker, which wasn't hot glued at the time. This is the final layout before I put the other things. Of course, this was a thing I did where I marked with a paint marker inside. Then I just erased it. But I was just making sure that if I ever have to take this thing apart and I have two 9-tooth gears, that I put them, because as I said, these are 8-tooth gears. So there's that. There's that. Here's the assembly process. It was going slow here. That's the thing. It was the motor wasn't, I put it to like 5 volts later after this, but just the motor. And the motor, the grease got out of the way and the thing started moving fine. As I said, here's a picture that I think I put on the Gemmy Facebook group. Another video. Now the thing's moving properly, as quick as it's supposed to. All that crap. After this, of course, I just assembled the mechanism. I put some baking soda and some super glue here because the staple of this arm literally broke it. So what I ended up doing afterwards is I made the holes bigger with a little drill. So all I would have to do is just push the staples, and sure enough, they worked like a charm. So after that, of course, lubricating little final touches like a little grease on the knob peg. This is just how perfectionist I am. Cleaning the clothes. More cleaning, face is clean. Assembling it, hot glue dabs. I had to stitch this afterwards because there. And There's the final assembly again. I had the base in parts yet still, but you guys can tell already there's hot glue around there. And last but not least, absolutely done. Now you guys can notice, I don't know why, I think I didn't replace the batteries before, because these were the batteries I was using on it, and here is where I forgot to explain. So how does this thing even work? Why are there wires, extra wires? Now, if you're a genius, an electronic, at least you know something on electronics, you must have spotted this. There's 4 separate terminals on the top, and of course two double contacts in the bottom. And these two are connected with these two. The thing is that both circuits are in parallel. So if you put 2 AA batteries, it's going to work. And if you put the other 2 instead of these 2, it's going to work anyways. If you put all 4, it's going to work the strongest. This is for amplifying the current, probably because of the chip it has, because I gotta say this, it was a very bitchy chip. In fact, this is the chip that they used for the, how's it called? The, damn it. The sound control ones, or the ones that have a button, because going a little bit back, further back, you guys are going to see there was a resistor on the side, which was this one, the only resistor on the whole board. I thought this was for the pitch, but no, it actually was kind of a looper, yeah, let's call it like that, a looper resistor, so it would be constantly, activating, because if not, it's just going to sing it twice or 3 times, and then it's going to stop. So as I said, it's parallel, so it works the best when all 4 batteries are inserted, but the circuit board and the thing are not getting 6 volts, because again, batteries are in parallel, so you gotta, it's not like if you had 4 batteries in series connection, you're like, oh yeah, okay, if it was in series, these 2 would be connected by a wire, and this would be the main negative, this would be the main positive, well actually vice versa, main negative, main positive, and it would be getting 6 volts, but in this case, you gotta, again, a little bit of math, a little bit of, for anybody who doesn't know, this is with it's called the law of Ohm, and it's again, one of those basic, super basic resistor, and anything in general, that anything electronics, you want to, I don't know, put in parallel, you do 1 divided this, divided that, plus, you don't just say, oh yeah, 1.5, if it was getting 6 volts, it would be a whole lot faster. Anyways, that's practically it. So as I said, 4 batteries, but it's 2 3-volt circuits in parallel. Anyways, so again, gonna go with the box right now. This thing back then costed 10 Argentinian pesos when this thing was, first in. That is so crazy. That's absolutely crazy. I literally paid this 40 times that value. I literally paid 400 pesos for this damn thing, and broken how it was, because I was like, I don't know when the hell I'm gonna see it again. So, yeah, classic economy right there. Anyway, 14 inches. This is another one that they released. A lot of people say it's by NB Toys and all that crap, but as you guys can see here, it's not. Even though I don't, again, I think that NB Toys must have made their version, but you're going to be able to tell. Or BND as well, I think. Moving arms, shaking body, dancing action, highly detailed features. Plays your favorite Christmas tunes. On the back, here's the other one. Now, one thing that got me at first, and I was like confused because I thought this was a large base, but no, it's actually just this seen from a perspective where it kind of folds your eyes thinking it's a round base, but no, it's not. It's just a standard oval base. So again, that's what kind of got me, because the lady said it worked with 4 batteries. I was like, okay, 4 batteries. But then, of course, I put just 2, and it started dancing, and I was like, maybe these Chinese people, because, what they usually do when something, they know it's going to be overpowered, and it's going to kill the chip or something, is they just connect 2 or 3 batteries, and that's it, and the 4th one, it's there, the contacts are there just for the forsaken of it. But in this case, yeah, they were both 3-volt circuits were in parallel, so that was really cool. Shaking body, moving arms. As you guys can see, they made one with this head, and only God knows how many other versions. I've seen one that had an adapter jack, so there's a lot. versions of these things. 4 AA batteries, all the battery instructions, garbage. Of course, there's at least 3 versions right here. Yeah. Now, I don't know exactly why it says DSB, DSC, DSF, and where the hell is DSE? Because, I mean, wonder where that model is. But again, they must have all came in this box. But anyways, those are the 3 versions we have over here. The classic one like mine, that one, that one. Okay, now that kind of gets me. Then I wonder if this is the E version. Because this is, you know, dressed up like the Gemmy hip swinging one. Which in fact, I'm actually receiving one from Daniel tomorrow. So that's going to be shown in November, sadly. We got B, we got C, and we got F. But we don't have D nor E. Maybe this is one of those. I don't know. Again, these things come so assorted that that's how we get it. So I think that's practically it. Nothing to show at the bottom rather than a little break. This actually had a a piece of tape that said the price and said thank you. Okay, so with the Santa Claus itself, as I said, measures 14 inches, has the classic Gemmy knockoff face, which I had to clean. Staples in the neck, staples in the arms, you know, the hands had to be glued to the sleeves. Everything had to be checked. The mechanism right now is so well lubricated that you can actually forcibly move it. And even when you turn it off, it has some how's it called? Some inertia to it. So it actually kind of, before I wouldn't even do that. You know, it's like when you turn something off, it takes its little time to stop. That's what this one does. It's just a second or so, maybe less. As I said, cleaned up the base, the corrosion is gone. Here's the batteries, and here's what I show, what I was saying. You take these 2 batteries off, over there, and you turn it on. So, it does that. Now, you take these 2 batteries off, of course, nothing. But then you put the last batteries on. You know, these that I just took off. And again, as it's in parallel, it's gonna just work fine. So in theory, if I was a lazy fuck, and you know, in my Christmas display, I would just be like, okay, you're just getting 2 batteries. After all, you can work with that. I mean, this is why those batteries are there. Those are fresh, generic batteries I'm leaving there for the holiday season. So I actually put them on this one. Again, you put all 4. Now, I'm pretty sure this is what they did with all of them, because they move slow and everything. And now it works, you know, the strongest it can with this battery layout. Let me just put this battery thing on. There we go. Much better. So, I guess that without further ado, and having explained everything I did, everything the Santa Claus is made out of, and having explained every single detail that went into the repair and the composition of the Santa Claus, I have nothing left to do rather than show it. So, without further ado, I hope you guys enjoy. So, that's practically everything. I love the Santa Claus, and it'll be a pretty special member of this year's Christmas display. So, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in a later time, maybe next month. with the Christmas stuff already. So, again, I hope you guys enjoyed it, and stay tuned because I have a bunch more of generic Santas to show. As always, thank you for watching, everyone.